From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. Americans are feeling more unhappy than ever with the latest World Happiness Report showing the country's worst ranking in history. This and more coming up in today's show. Nearly 500,000 fewer Canadians drove into the U.S. in February compared to last year, U.S. Customs and Border Protection data shows. Cross-border travel dropped from 2.69 million in February 2024 to 2.22 million last month, the lowest since April 2022. Experts say this decline is surprising as travel was far more restricted back then due to COVID-19 measures. Analysts link the drop to strained U.S.-Canada relations, citing President Donald Trump's tariffs and rhetoric. The decline signals a potential shift in travel patterns affecting tourism and trade. The trend raises concerns about long-term impacts on border economies. Officials haven't pinpointed a single cause, but observers say the numbers highlight growing unease among Canadian travelers. President Donald Trump has set a 2-month deadline for Iran to agree on a new nuclear deal. Axios reports Trump's letter to Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei outlined the ultimatum. Khamenei dismissed the move as bullying tactics. Iran's foreign ministry confirmed the letter is under review, with the response being drafted. Trump has reiterated his stance against Iran's nuclear ambitions, saying, "We can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Something is going to happen very soon." Since withdrawing from the 2015 nuclear deal in 2018, Trump has reimposed sanctions, ramping up pressure on Tehran. Iran, after initially complying, gradually rolled back its commitments. Meanwhile, the U.S. has renewed its maximum pressure strategy, demanding Iran stop supporting Yemen's Houthi rebels. The Trump administration has detained Indian Muslim scholar Badr Khan Suri for supporting the cause of Palestine. Authorities say the postdoctoral fellow at Georgetown University is being deported over alleged ties to Hamas and spreading anti-Semitic propaganda. The Department of Homeland Security claims Suri's activities pose a threat to U.S. foreign policy. However, it has provided no evidence publicly for the claim. Suri holds a student visa and is married to a U.S. citizen. He was arrested outside his home in Virginia on Monday night and is detained in Louisiana, awaiting immigration court proceedings. He has a PhD in peace and conflict studies from a university in India. Georgetown University says it received no explanation for Suri's detention and was unaware that he was engaged in any illegal activity. Suri's lawyer slammed the arrest, calling it politically motivated. His wife, Mafi Saleh, who is a journalist from Gaza, remains free, but is concerned about his fate. Rights groups warned that these actions set a dangerous precedent for academic freedom and free speech in the U.S. His arrest and detention comes amid the Trump administration crackdown on non-U.S. citizens involved in Free Palestine protests against Israel's genocide in Gaza. Earlier this month, ICE arrested and detained Columbia University student Mahmoud Khalil under similar circumstances. The U.S. has dropped to its lowest position ever in the 2025 World Happiness Report, ranking 24th globally, according to new data released by Gallup and its partners. The annual report, which surveys 147 countries between 2022 and 2024, evaluates life satisfaction, social connections, and trust. Finland continues its 8-year streak as the world's happiest nation, while Mexico and Costa Rica enter the top 10 for the first time. Experts link the U.S. decline to rising social isolation and political polarization. 1 in 4 Americans ate all their meals alone in 2023, a 53% increase since 2003. Studies suggest shared meals boost happiness, making this trend concerning. Additionally, a rise in anti-system voting patterns in the U.S. and parts of Europe correlates with declining trust and happiness. Meanwhile, Mexico and Costa Rica climbed the rankings due to stronger family ties and larger households. The report highlights social trust as a crucial happiness factor. Nordic countries, which top the rankings, also score highest in trust metrics, including the likelihood of returning a lost wallet. With the U.S. slipping in rankings, experts warn of deepening social fractures impacting overall well-being. U.S. airstrikes across Yemen injured 7 women and 2 children on Wednesday evening. The Houthi-affiliated Al Masirah TV reported the strikes hit the capital, Sana'a, and 2 other areas, damaging homes and livestock. In Sanaa's Al Thawra district, the strikes caused injuries and set an event hell ablaze. This marks the first U.S. airstrikes on Yemen since the Israel-Hamas truce in January. According to Houthi sources, U.S. attacks since Saturday have killed 53 people and injured 107. The escalation follows Houthi attacks on Israel-linked vessels in the Red Sea, which the group initially halted after the January 19th ceasefire. However, it has threatened to resume them due to Israel blocking aid to Gaza. President Donald Trump confirmed ordering the strikes, calling it a major attack on the Houthis. Analysts say the situation raises concerns about further instability in the region. With food supplies cut off and markets empty, Gaza faces a devastating famine as Israel's blockade continues. Full story coming up next.
Assalamu alaikum. This is the largest refugee camp in the world. 1 million people are sitting here, doing nothing essentially, cannot study, cannot have a living, and world has to give them, feed them bit by bit, little bit of food. I find children, all skinny children around me, and they are wondering what's our future. Since I came from America, they're asking me this question, what's the future for us? Please, join Burma Task Force. It's a coalition of 38 organizations. Support Burma Task Force, join Justice for All. Let's change the future for 1 million people sitting here in the world's largest refugee camp for 7 years. Join now.
Welcome back. With nearly 2 million people facing complete food insecurity, Gaza has officially entered the first phase of famine. The World Food Programme reports that no food supplies have entered Gaza since March 2nd. Israel continues to block border crossings for both humanitarian and commercial goods. Palestinian Media Office Chief Ismail Thawabte describes the situation as an unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe. Gaza's markets are running out of essentials, bakeries are shutting down due to fuel shortages, and water wells are ceasing operation. He warns life in Gaza is on the verge of collapse if the Israeli aggression does not stop and crossings are not reopened. Meanwhile, renewed Israeli airstrikes since Tuesday have killed at least 436 people and wounded more than 670, violating a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas in place since January. Meanwhile, renewed Israeli airstrikes since Tuesday have killed at least 436 people and wounded more than 670, violating a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas in place since January. Since October 2023, more than 61,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children, have been killed, with more than 112,000 others injured. Israel faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice. Arrest warrants also have been issued by the International Criminal Court for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes in Gaza. 3 people are facing charges after allegedly threatening individuals outside a mosque in Portland, Maine with guns. Police responded to the Cumberland Islamic Center around 9 p.m. local time on Tuesday. The complaint said 2 people in a black BMW brandished firearms and made threats. Shortly after, authorities found the vehicle at the Maine Muslim Community Center, also in Portland, and detained 2 juveniles and a 19-year-old. They were later released to their parents while charges remain pending. No injuries were reported, but police have not recovered the weapons. The incident comes less than 2 weeks after a man was shot outside a mosque in Lewiston, less than an hour away during Ramadan prayers. Investigations in that case are ongoing. Police urge anyone with security footage from the area to come forward. The security situation in Rohingya refugee camps in Bangladesh is worsening as U.S. funding cuts create space for militant groups, a new report warns. A 78-page document by human rights group Fortify Rights reveals Rohingya militant groups have killed at least 65 people in 2024 alone, following a sharp rise in violence over recent years. The report suggests these crimes could constitute war crimes due to their direct link to the ongoing conflict in Burma. It urges the Bangladesh government and international bodies to investigate and prosecute those responsible. Bangladesh is currently hosting more than 1.2 million Rohingya refugees in Cox's Bazar who fled Burma's military crackdown in 2017. The UN warns they remain entirely dependent on foreign aid. However, a recent U.S. policy shift under the Trump administration, cutting U.S. aid operations, has placed humanitarian support in jeopardy. The World Food Program, which heavily relies on U.S. funds, says without urgent financial assistance, food rations for more than 1 million refugees will be slashed in half starting April 1st. Google has agreed to pay $28 million to settle a class action lawsuit alleging racial bias in pay and promotions. The lawsuit was filed in 2021 by former employee Anna Cantu. She claimed Hispanic, Latino, Native American, and other minority workers were placed in lower-paying roles than their white and Asian counterparts. A leaked internal document reportedly revealed pay disparities, reinforcing claims of systemic discrimination. The settlement covers more than 6,600 employees who worked at Google between 2018 and 2024. While denying wrongdoing, Google claims it remains committed to fair pay and hiring practices. This case comes amid a broader rollback of corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at the tech giant. Similarly, companies such as Meta and Amazon also have scaled back DEI initiatives, while President Donald Trump has called for their elimination in government agencies. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski accused her Republican colleagues of being too afraid to challenge President Donald Trump and Elon Musk, fearing political backlash. Speaking to reporters, Murkowski said many GOP lawmakers prefer to stay silent to avoid primary challenges and media attacks. Murkowski is known for breaking ranks with her party. She has repeatedly criticized Musk's Department of Government Efficiency for its aggressive cost-cutting measures. Murkowski warns the agency's abrupt policies are causing unnecessary panic among federal employees worried about their jobs. Despite potential political threats, Murkowski remains defiant, insisting she will not be intimidated by Musk or Trump. They're traumatizing people, she said, vowing to continue speaking out. Her remarks highlight growing tensions within the Republican Party as lawmakers navigate internal divisions and external pressures from powerful figures. The Intercept reported this week that Columbia University apologized to Palestinian graduate student Mahmoud Khalil last May after suspending him for just 1 day. Columbia swiftly rescinded the suspension and dropped all disciplinary charges against Khalil with an email from an associate vice president wishing him well on his finals. Nearly a year later, Khalil's case took a dramatic turn when Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers arrested him at his Manhattan apartment on March 8th. A legal U.S. resident who graduated in December, Khalil now faces deportation in a case that has ignited a national debate over free speech. The Trump administration linked Khalil's arrest to his Free Palestine activism, citing his role as a student protest negotiator as a threat to American interests. His supporters argue his detention is politically motivated, stifling campus dissent. A free tattoo removal program has been launched in Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, through various organizations. The cost of tattoo removal is very high in the country. The program provides services to low and middle-income Muslims. Before the laser tattoo removal procedure, participants undergo blood tests and are given anesthesia. The free service is provided to those who voluntarily wish to have their tattoos removed at the center where 40 people are employed. Getting tattoos is forbidden in Islam. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.